In this video, I'm going to share my secret weapon for saving thousands and thousands of dollars on setting my business up legally and compliantly without having to sit down with an attorney for hours and hours and hours on end. If you have the money to do that, do it, do it, do it, do it. I am your girl who has avoided all the legal things like the plague, partly in the beginning due to lack of finances and partly just because it scared and overwhelmed me. And so I'm your girl who skips every podcast, every YouTube video, any article about the law. I'm like, la, 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 la. Ostrich with the head in the sand. So frankly, the fact that you're here, kudos to you. Kudos to you. So the game changed for me last year. I have a podcast called How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. And I ended up having a guest come on the podcast to talk about how to set up your business legally. And she is an intellectual property or IP attorney. And she broke it down so simply. She also scared the pants off me because she sees the bad every day, right? She sees the extremes of what can happen. But she really kind of rolled it out for us on the podcast. I'll link those episodes too in case if you want to listen to what she had to say. But the point is that for the longest time I just ran, I have Etsy shops. I have courses that I sell for Etsy sellers. I have my podcast. I am a digital marketer. All of these things. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I have blogs, and I didn't pay a ton of attention to the legal side. I kind of did the bare minimum, which is getting more and more and more not possible or safe. And so Paige came on the podcast and kind of opened my eyes, and I was able to get my hands on so many more resources and understand what's necessary. So let me stop right there and just tell you that I am not an attorney. I'm not a legal expert by any stretch of the imagination. I am your relatable girl next door, mama, girl boss, loves to play on Etsy, loves to coach and all of that. I am passing on part of what attorney Paige Hulse shared on my podcast, and also just letting you know about the resources that have been helping me to not spend thousands and thousands and thousands in legal fees so far. This is not legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. And I hope that the referral to who I think is the best IP attorney out there for creative business owners will be helpful for you on so many levels. So that being said, the first thing that really struck me was, Etsy in particular I'll start there because I think even sometimes when you start your own business, like your own blog or whatever, nobody asks you any of these questions. At least Etsy's asking you, how do you want to structure your business? And they don't care so much. You can be a sole proprietor. But what attorney Paige Hulse really caught my attention with is she was saying, one of the most important things you need to do is to separate your personal assets from your business assets, because God forbid something were to happen with your business. People are crazy. You don't want them to be able to legally attack your personal assets, your house, your car, anything that you have. You want those things to be separate. And that's what something like an LLC can help you do. I thought that was super overwhelming to start an LLC, but it's really not that bad or expensive at all. It's something that my husband and I were able to set up in an evening. You can do that online. But one of the really important parts of the LLC that helps to protect you beyond just having one is to actually have what is called an agreement, an operating agreement for the LLC. And can I tell you, so you need this as a single person running a business. It's called a single member LLC operating agreement. This goes you need an LLC times a million if you are working with other people that are part owners of this, because then anything that happens in their life can attack you and your personal finances. And I am sure that anyone that you're a business partner with is a very upstanding, responsible, wonderful human. It's not questioning who they are as a person. It's the fact that people in the world are not all like that. And if they just they're completely innocent, but they get into some kind of legal scuffle, it can then attack you. So we need things like a single member or a multi-member LLC operating agreement. And that is what I wanted to tell you. This is what I saved a ton of money on, was rather than sitting down with an attorney and having them draft one, I was able to get one through attorney Paige Hulse's Shop Creative Law website. So let me bird's eye view this. So I'm an Etsy person, right? So I love a template shop. I go to Etsy to buy all different kinds of templates for all different kinds of things. And what she did was she created a whole bunch of law documents, operating agreements, contracts, terms and conditions, all of the things. And is this not brilliant? She put it into a template shop, which is a website where you can then buy the document. Now, here's the thing. a lot of people think it's totally cool to just go to a random website on the internet and buy a super cheap whatever document. But the problem is, those were written by Lord knows what attorney for Lord knows what application. I want and need, if I actually, what is the point of trying to protect myself legally if I don't use the proper document with the proper verbiage? These things have to be crafted with care. You know, think about legalese. They have to be crafted with care. And so I wanted one written by an intellectual property attorney, because that is what's best going to protect my courses, my website, my blog, my Etsy shops, all of it. So shopcreativelaw.com is where attorney Paige Hulse keeps these things. And I'll just put this in here right now in case you're just like going to take your pretty little eyes over there right now. The code SMILEY10, SMILEY 10 will save you 10% on anything you buy over there. So save yourself. It'll be good. In addition, if you have I'm just going to talk to like the average website owner, you know that you need a privacy policy, that you need web terms and conditions. If you're selling a course, you also need course sales terms and conditions. And that is a bundle that I was able to get at Shop Creative Law. And it saved me so much money over sitting down with an attorney and having them draft 3 different documents specific to my business. It was a major deal, and I feel much more safe and secure operating my business knowing that these well-written documents are there to protect me. Just this year, there's also an educational side to her site. So not only can you get all of those, and I could go on and on, right? There's coaching agreements, confidentiality agreements, every kind of contract. Like if you need a model release, or you're working with animals, or you're the list goes on and on. There's over 100 templates over there. But there's also some really important educational resources. Some are free, some are paid. She's got a course of like legal foundations, which is huge. I'm going to give you a little tour here in a second so that you can see what this looks like and where to find stuff. But just this year in 2024, a new law came forward in the very beginning of the year. It's already passed, like it was enforced as the beginning of the year. The abbreviation is BOI, so make sure you at least go look this up somewhere. It stands for Beneficial Ownership Reporting. And basically every single business owner has to file this new document. And if you don't, like the fines and the consequences it's not going to be a little slap on the wrist or nobody even notices like in the past. You have to do it. And if you'd like, you can look on the blog site of Shop Creative Law to learn more about that. Other things that are important, if you haven't heard about them before, if you're building an email list, which you should be, you need to know about the GDPR, which are laws around email compliance and practices. She also has a contract guide. So let's pop over and let me show you some of this real quick. So this is the website, shopcreativelaw.com. Again, anything, if you decide to buy anything here, use the code SMILEY10, because these are not the super cheap, dinky contracts that you can get other places on the internet. These are written by an actual intellectual property attorney. We will see her picture here momentarily. She knows her stuff, and she has written these properly. And you don't want muck protecting your assets like your house. You want something secure in place. So this is the main page, and I use these drop downs to find everything. So you can shop all, but I prefer to come here. This is where you can get really specific by what you do. You can see she's just helping every kind of creative entrepreneur under the planet. So pass her name along, and then shop by category where you can, whatever you could possibly need. I'm personally partial to the bundles because most of us need more than one of these, and you're going to save hundreds of dollars if you get a bundle. In my case, like I told you, this is the legal foundations course that I mentioned to you that can really help you. If you want to get your arms around some business law, this would be a really good place to start. And then here are the bundles. So if you just have a website, this will give you the privacy policy and terms and conditions. If you have a website that has a shop on it, e-commerce, you also need the privacy policy, terms and conditions, and TOS for online sales. And there's a whole separate one if you're selling courses. And so this was the bundle that I got in addition to my LLC operating agreement. If we go back up here, I just want to make sure you know, so this is where you can find stuff, but then there's also, she's got free resources here where you can dig into some of these things like that BOI I told you about, and the GDPR is, here's one, privacy policy legality. That's really important, and this one as well, and the contract guide. So I want you to know that, like, I use her blog both here and at paigehulselaw.com. She's been posting more over there about the AI legality, which is evolving and changing every single week. and it's been very helpful to be able to follow along on what she's posting over there. Here, there is a blog as well. It's going to have a different type of content than that, but she's got more information here. What I can tell you, because she shared this on my Etsy podcast, is that, for example, if you are an Etsy shop owner, you have your shop policies placed. And Etsy as a website, they have their own terms and conditions that apply to both us and to the shopper. But your shop policies is where you can protect yourself more, and you should, because Etsy's only protecting themselves. So, for example, she said there are some add-on provisions that you're going to want to put into your little shop policies where you can add more. The risk of loss, the indemnification add-on provision, the force majeure, which is free. I will link that, but she's offering it free on her site. Limitation of liability and representation of warranties. And these are just the little they're little paragraphs of legalese that will protect you if you were going to have an issue. I remember I used to have a sign shop where I sold these massive, heavy reclaimed wood signs, and people would typically put them over their bed. And I didn't have any of these things in place, and I shudder to think I didn't have an LLC at the time either. If someone had poorly hung one on their wall and it fell off and hurt or killed someone in the middle of the night who was laying on the bed. And these are things that we don't necessarily think about, but that it would have been really wise for me to have some of these provisions in there. It's not my fault if you hang this poorly or your stud fails or things like that. So even if you're just selling digital products, things can come up with an IP argument. If they're using your digital product somewhere, if you're selling a t-shirt, what if someone gets strangled by it? You want to have the proper legal wording in place to cover you. So I really hope this helps. It was a real comfort to me to know, there is somewhere I can go with a person who is down to earth and will use language I can understand, who will look out for the best interest of my business and not make it feel so overwhelming and scary, and just give it to me bite-sized. And then also to be able to get 10% off of some of these, contracts. Legal services are expensive. Getting a good contract can be expensive, but if you use the code SMILEY10, you can save 10%, and it will make a difference in kind of that bottom line. Paige Hulse Law can help you if you end up in a legal scuffle. If you are a wonderful, respectful, and amazing person, I invite you to reach out to her law firm if you need to, for both copycats and protecting your business and setting things up, but also her specialty is trademarks. So if you need to file a trademark, for sure, Paige Hulse is your girl. So I will link all of the things that I mentioned in the description. I am such a queen of making sure you've got everything that you need there. But I hope this is helpful. If you are an Etsy seller, I host the How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy podcast. Please come on over there and I will teach you everything I know about Etsy and help you to make sales and grow your business and scale. And if you are a general business owner, or you're a course creator, I have a video about Kajabi. It's a review about the site Kajabi, which is where you can potentially host your videos and things like that. And I would love to share thoughts about that with you if you are debating where to host your online courses. And I can tell you the pros and cons of what I have found working with them. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope this was super helpful. And again, SMILEY10 will save you 10% at shopcreativelaw.com. Oh, I'm just so glad that now you know about Paige Hulse, because it just changed the game for me. And I hope that this little secret will help you protect your businesses as well.